Barrymore either has some sort of show, and she was going to be coming back, bringing back production. And while the strike is going on, and she got tremendous backlash, like horrible backlash, been called out, all types of things, right? Then, now previous to that, Bill Maher had announced that he was going to be resuming production, but he hadn't done so. After Drew Barrymore gets the response she gets, he now comes out with this, and let me read his tweet. So it looks like Keaton and Kit that he's backing off his scab ways, at least for now. And here is Bill Maher. My decision to return to work was made when it seemed nothing was happening and there was no end in sight to this strike. Now that both sides have agreed to go back to the negotiating table, I'm going to delay the return of real time for now and hope they can finally get this done. And of course, Nico House is already there. One, had either of you seen this yet? And two,
yeah, we covered it.
What is your reaction? So I like it when you covered it already. That's so maybe you've had time to reflect and have an additional sort of point you wanted to make. You know, you ever had that? You ever go through the part where you do a segment? It's like, man, I forgot to say this. I wish I said that. So tell me, what say you about this topic about Bill Maher sort of backing off being called a scab? Because I actually covered the segment when he said he was resuming, and it was a lot of backlash for him. But Keaton and then Kit.
Yeah, so we covered this. We covered Barrymore and Maher as one segment when they were both set to cross the picket line. Then we covered it again when Barrymore went back on her initial plan to resume the show. And then I couldn't clip that segment because by the time I would have clipped that segment, the second part of my segment became obsolete because I actually predicted Bill Maher would not go back. I just think he's pretty much an unrepentant prick at this point. And so I was very surprised that he actually did this. But his reasoning here is obviously bullshit. He's not doing this because there's been some breakthrough in negotiations. He's doing this because of the backlash. And one of the things that I said in my original take was that if you cross the picket line and you start these shows back up without the writers and in betrayal of the writers, how are you going to get writers to work for you again when the strike is over? Like, who would go and work for a show where the showrunner has pretty much said in every way possible that he doesn't care about the writers, he doesn't value their input, he thinks he could do the show without them? Why would you go and work for that show even after the strike? So I think that's what Bill Maher is ultimately came to here. With Drew Barrymore, it honestly seems like she did not know better. Like those statements that she put out got trolled so badly because the irony of it is she can't write. Like those statements are written at a second grade writing level. So like the idea that she was going to attempt the show without writers is just laughable. But honestly, in her case, I don't really think she understood the implications of what she was doing. I don't feel like she really knew better. And so water under the bridge when it comes to her. When it comes to him, no, this is a diplomatic answer to try and save face because he knew how badly it was going to be received. The writers were going to picket his show. And, Bill Maher, he doesn't really even try to be progressive anymore, but he still presents himself as a Democrat, more or less, who they try to present themselves, laughably, of course, as a party of labor. And so it just would have been, he wouldn't have been able to rub the stink off of that if he went back, and I think he came to his senses.
Yes.
So this whole thing was Hollywood. I am rather pleased that I'm seeing it collapse with the studio execs as they're heading into the red. The people who I feel sorry for are the writers and the actors who are trying to get in and stagehands. These are the people who I do feel sorry for because they have been abused. and stepped on by a system that chews them up, spits them out, promises opportunities, and doesn't deliver. The big name actors, the studio executives, may they cannibalize each other and destroy their imagery. In many ways, what I want to see happen after this entire Hollywood debacle, because with Drew Barrymore, she should have known better. Bill Maher, I mean, this is just an asshole trying to save face. There's nothing to say anything more about Bill Maher. Okay, you want to know who Bill Maher is? Check him out in the film House 2. That's his real character, where he runs off with the two guys' girlfriend. That's it. A scumbag. That's all he is. But what I would like to see out of this destruction of Hollywood, because I want to see Hollywood destroyed for petty reasons, very petty reasons. I don't like Hollywood. I think it's filled with scumbag executives and producers and directors and the mainstream actors. The lower tier ones, they're trying to get by and they're denied opportunities. But again, what I want to see happen with the destruction of Hollywood is perhaps a creation of new hubs across the country for people to once again embrace a new wave of creativity, because what we're getting out of Hollywood is nothing but corporate sludge. None of it's imaginative, nothing is good, and anything that is gaining its feet is quickly canceled by the streaming services or Hollywood, or either that consumed by Hollywood and then spit out into something else that it was not supposed to be. So that's my analysis on all this. Drew, I love you in ET, but come on, you got to know your point where you got to step away. And finally, hey, Whoopi Goldberg's part of SAG, isn't she? How come she's still on The View? Has anyone talked to Whoopi or
the whole view is back, and they don't have any writers, and so they're kind of getting side eye too. But they're The View. I don't know why they get a pass. But somebody did a segment on that, and I was listening to. I think it was a couple of days ago. But here's a couple of. This is a funny. I guess this is a meme, and it says, "I couldn't find any SCABS celebrities to come on my show, so I'm going to delay the return."
Like I said, scumbag. That's now. All he is. Go see the film House 2, right? It's just a lackluster sequel to House 1, but that's who Bill Maher is. Bill Maher is a scumbag who will run off with your girlfriend, smoke pot, and says he agrees with you, and that's it. That's all he is. He's a scumbag.
Let me read. This is from Chuck Modi. Quote, "My decision to return to work was made when I thought I might not receive so much pushback for being a scab. Now that millions of you handed my ass to me, I reconsidered."
Right.